Welcome to another episode of the Coffee Conversation Show powered by the Emerging India Forum, TEIF, and our tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. Today's theme is Inside the HR World, a sip of wisdom with the expert. The expert is Ritesh Agarwal, who is the head of HR for PepsiCo Thailand Foods and APAC sector commercial capability team. Ritesh has over 14 years of experience in leading human resources functions across the APAC region. He brings a wealth of insights into talent management, sales, HR strategy, and organization development. Friends, he's also author of Sales HR Strategy. He has developed deep intricacies of building high performing sales functions, making him a thought leader in this field. He has played international assignments in Vietnam, Dubai, and has played a role of HR leadership. So, friends, this will be an informative experience, like we will have in a conversation. And so, brace yourself with your favorite brew and join us to uncover the secrets and the personal and professional journey of Ritesh Agarwal in this series, The Emerging Professional. So, friends, I'm Amir Virani over here, host at Coffee and Tech Evangelist. So, Ritesh, just want to explain you the format. You must be aware about two parts, the professional and personal. But there is also a surprise, that is the rapid fire round. So, if you answer properly and quickly, so you will get this ebook authored by me.
Wow,
Correct?
excellent.
Yeah. So I want your copy, I'll give you my copy. Okay, so let's begin. So, Ritesh, my first question. How is the journey shaped up in HR domain?
So firstly, Amir, thank you so much for having me here. It's absolute privilege to be part of these coffee conversations. I have gone through your YouTube channel. There are so many insightful videos and the recordings of experts. It really inspires me a lot. It really gives me a lot of knowledge about many other fields in which I am not directly associated. So a big thanks to your team and to you first. Thank you for asking this question. I think my journey in HR has been very enriching over the last 14 years. I joined as a management trainee with PepsiCo India, and then I have taken up various roles in HR, in sales, managing then factories, and then moving outside India, doing sector roles, as well as then moving to Thailand to take care of sales capability for Asia, and now as the head of HR for PepsiCo Thailand. So it has been a truly enriching experience, something which yeah, I had always aspired for, and something which I got an opportunity to learn from some of the senior leaders here in my company, as well as some of my people who have been an idol to me.
That's very interesting. So when did this journey of going international started? My next question will get very curious because your most exposure has been in working internationally. So how does this turn came about?
Uh, so, uh, so my company is a world full of opportunities, and it really gives a lot of chances to professionals to shape up their own careers, take lead in what they want to do. So there was an opportunity that had come that basis my prior experience in managing sales capability, um, the company wanted to set up the sales capability vertical here in Asia to support the foods and the beverages business. So this was a new role created around 5 years back, and I was already in that field, and the company gave me this opportunity to evaluate if I would want to move here and get more exposure to the businesses here in Southeast Asia. So it was an opportunity up for grabs, and that's where this turned out well. It has been wonderful 5 years in Thailand. Thailand is a land of smiles, and it's a place where you can learn so much. It's a place where if you really want to invest, you can really get a lot of disproportionate returns.
That's very interesting. So you're talking about now from HR to investments. That very. So I'll ask some questions during my conversation. That's interesting. You have various other interests also. That's good to know. So now coming back to our main conversation, what strategy do you implement to ensure effective HR management across diverse cultures at PepsiCo?
Great point, Amir. See, when we are working with different markets, different cultures, the most important thing is to understand the local culture first. And different markets in Southeast Asia bring in totally different way of looking at the same thing, right? So it's the first and foremost thing. It's important to understand the local culture, ways of doing things. What are the values, beliefs? What do they feel? What do the local team feel important in terms of achieving what you want to achieve? So um, the very first thing which I always want to understand is what is the local culture. Then the second most important thing is what is the stage the business is at. In different countries, the business is always in a different stages, right? In some of the markets, we are strong. Some of the markets, we are a strong challenger. In some of the markets, there are different regulations which we need to take care of. The talent availability also varies, and the language capability also varies a lot across the Southeast Asian markets. So understanding the business, understanding the environment in which the business is operating is the second most important thing. And the third most important thing is what is the need of the hour. Sometimes we do things because we are very good at it. Sometimes we do things because we like them. But we need to take a step back and we need to see what is the need of the hour. So if I am formulating any strategy, I take care of these three things, which is the local culture, understanding the business and the environment, and most importantly, understanding the need of the hour. These three things help us draft the right strategy, which will help us succeed in that particular situation. So for each market, the strategy varies as per the need of the market and the other factors.
That's very interesting. Now, let's. My next question will be on talent retention in a multinational company. What are different strategies are employed by you and your HR team?
Great question. See, every talent is important to us. Whenever any person joins any company, the person goes through a learning curve, and the company also goes through a learning curve. It is very important for us to preserve that talent, wealth that we have, and hence talent retention is of utmost priority to us. In Southeast Asia, because the economies are growing, because there are a lot of new startups coming, there is always a big battle of talent which is there. And from an FMCG company, it becomes easier for people to move to other FMCG companies as well as other industries, because mostly the skills are of plug and play nature. So for us, retaining the talent is the one of the most important priorities in terms of the HR strategy. In this, what we generally do is we try to look at what are the exact things which any employee values. Now, the employee value proposition depends on the kind of work that they are doing. So we have a vast team of frontline talent which goes to the market, takes order. Similarly, we have the frontline in the factories who basically help us run the factory. So it's important to understand what do they value at this level. And when we had done a deep dive, we understand that they really look to join a company which cares about the employee, which is fair in terms of remuneration, and which creates a constant learning opportunities for the employee so that they can grow in their careers. So these are some of the factors that we try to address, and some of these strategies is based to address the initiatives around these factors.
That's very interesting. Now, my next question, in continuation, in your experience related to organization development, uh, what kind of programs do you bring in so that people who starting from the ground level, he has got moves to the top level like you have done?
So thankfully, in one of the best FMCG companies where I am working, there are several real life examples where people joined in the front line and they had become the CEOs. So that ways, I don't need to establish or share the story with people. There are real life examples which people can see and get inspired from. And some of the leaders in my company, they are not only known locally, their leadership is known across the globe. So, this is something which we really take care. Most important thing is we try to manage between what opportunities the company can give, and what skills each and every employee brings on the table. Our primary focus has always been to promote internal employees. So we encourage that if there is any vacancy, there is a process of IJP, which is a very, very common process across many companies now. Now, whenever we do that, the first priority is always given to internal employees. And whichever role comes in, first priority and first evaluation happen for those employees who raise up their hands. Now, this is something which is a reactive mode. What we have done over the last few years is we have also moved to a proactive way of helping our employees grow. So, for each and every employee, we have the people planning where we ask the employee what do they want to achieve in their lives and in their careers, what are the various skills they want to take up, and we have it in a proper documented way. And basis that, we do a people planning in which for any of the roles we try to understand who are the people who can be potential fit in those roles. And when that opportunity comes, we try to place uh, our own team members who are there in these roles. So many of these examples which I was talking about, when people join in the front line and move to the highest position in the company, has been in a more planful way than by chance. So these are some of the things that we do here.
That's very interesting. Now, let's come to the role of technology. Nowadays, technology has improved a lot and plays a good part in shaping the future of HR practices. So, my question will be related to HR as well as since you have got experience, bringing experience of sales capability development. So, I would need answer in two parts.
See, technology, and the importance of technology in the way we are doing things will always become more and more important, right? Previously, we had the basic computing skills coming in, the basic Excel skills coming in. Then we moved into a learning management system where you have e-learnings, video learnings. Then we moved to micro learnings. Then we moved to gamification, right? And now the most important trend that is going is towards artificial intelligence, right? Now, some of the work can definitely be made much easy with the help of technology. If we specifically talk about sales capability, a couple of important things where I think we are also trying to do, as well as the overall function can benefit, is in the it could be divided into two parts. The first part is the value adding part. Now, as far as capability development or skill development is concerned, it's important that we realize that all these skills depends on what is the need of the particular business, and the gap which is there in the skill of the existing team members. So understanding this training need is the most and the first is the first and the most important step in understanding what you want to do as far as capability is concerned. I think that is where technology can fill in a lot of gap. Previously, what we used to do was we used to open up everybody's performance sheet and then see what are the development needs, and then manually collate it in Excel and then come out with the training needs. These days, all these things can be readily done by technology as well as artificial intelligence. And just to give you a specific example related to sales capability, we do a lot of trainings around how to increase the sales of outlets in the market, right? So we will have the various execution parameters which are there. Now, if we have that access to data for individual team members, then we can ask the system to come out, and for each of the person, it can share in which KPIs they have done well and which KPIs they have not done well. So this can really help create a personalized plan for each and every team member that we have. And this personalized plan can help us train those specific people in the specific areas which can help improve the KPIs. So this is one of the examples. Second example, which I wanted to talk about, is more in terms of, say, understanding what's the training dashboard, how many trainings are done, what is the training feedback, understanding the impact of training on the results. So all this dashboarding can be easily done by RPA these days. So we had actually implemented a robotic process automation. We had created a bot, and that bot is able to help us download the data from the learning management system and come out with a ready dashboard every month. Previously, in order to achieve this, we used to spend so many man hours to download the data, do the analysis in Excel, copy paste in PowerPoint. Now, through this bot, with a click of a button, this entire activity can be done in a few seconds. So, this is where I think technology can really make a difference. It can help us as HR professionals focus on the value adding part and by reducing the time that we give in all these, manual and admin part.
That's very interesting. Now, my next question will be, what are the key components of a good leadership development program?
Leadership development is something which is very unique to each company. Each company requires different set of skills. A product-based company will definitely focus on making their products as good as possible, right? So the focus is on quality, focus is on reaching the customers, so on, so more. So for a service-based company, the focus will be more in terms of how well you can provide services, how timely are your customer resolution, all those things. So leadership depends on what is the need by the company. And this again talks about understanding what is the long-term strategy for the company. So if the long-term strategy of the company is clear, the leadership development strategy should come out of that particular plan. The reason why I am focusing on a long-term strategy is any development plan is not like a switch, right? When I go through a training program, I am not a change person from the next day. Training and especially leadership development requires us to keep on practicing. There is no magic pill to it. So it's important that whenever we develop these plans, we look at in the long term, what do we want to achieve, and have a clear plan around where and how we reach that place where we want to reach. So it's quite important for us to devise the plan in such a way that it meets the company's objectives, it helps us fill the gap for individual person, as well as it is continuous in nature. Sometimes, professionals like us in leadership development and in training and development, we always look at trainings as a one-time intervention in the year, right? And just to give you a classical example, in a beverage industry, most of the trainings get pushed towards low season month because people are a little bit more available during that point in time. But my one sent to my team members as well as my senior leaders has always been that training is something which should be of continuous nature. We should not say that we do one training in a year and then it's a tick mark and we have achieved what we want to achieve. Training requires the 70-20-10 principle, which is quite common, right? It is more about practicing in the job than about just going through a online learning or a classroom training and then saying we have done our job.
It's very interesting. It says 70, 20, 10. This I'll remember. So every conversation, there are some points which I don't know. I'll have to come with a book. Okay. Now my next question will be related as your author of Sales HR Strategy. So what inspired you to bring book on sales HR, and what are the key takeaways the readers will benefit from this book?
Thank you, Amir. I mean, really happy to have written this book, and thank you for asking this question. So this book was written in 2020, but I had been planning to write about this topic for more than 7-8 years. Sales HR role was my first role in PepsiCo, and your first roles in life are always the most cherished roles. This book is an outcome of the fact that when I joined that role from the institute, from completing my MBA from XLRI, I was a little taken aback, right? So there was nothing to help me out in terms of understanding what will work and what will not work in real life. I had tried to explore what is the literature around available for sales HR, and I couldn't find anything at that point in time. So I always thought that I would pen down my experiences and my learnings in form of the book, so that if there is any entrepreneur or if there is any sales professional or any HR professional or any CEO who wants to set up a sales force, if he or she goes through this book, they can find a lot of insights into what works and what doesn't work. So I actually planned for some 7 8 years. I used to pen down some of my thoughts, some of my experiences, and then in 2020 I collated it together in form of this book. This book primarily talks about, if you want to set up a large sales force, then what are the HR systems and processes that can help you be successful? Sales is a little complicated thing because the team members are not coming to one particular building or one particular office. They are spread across the geography. So you don't get to meet them quite often in person, similar to when you meet your colleagues in office or when you meet them in a factory. So this makes the HR little complicated because you have to manage people remotely, right? And some of these learnings we can also draw parallelly now that we have the world has moved towards remote working. So some of these things are very relevant to how do you handle the HR processes for people who are not in one location. So this is the history behind this book. Thank you for asking, Amir.
No, no. Good insights, good things. So, people from sales, please read this book. This is a very valuable book because combining two aspects of sales and HR, people management. HR person is a people's person. So my next question is related to that. As a mantra goes, कि भाई, HR person is a people person across various domains. So what are the key factors you should focus on while dealing with the management and with the people down the line?
Great question, Amir. This is a very difficult question to answer because as a practicing professional, you will always have to keep the business priorities in mind. At the same time, as the HR head, you always need to be the voice of the people to the management. So you will have to play dual roles in this, and you will have to wear different caps at different times. Sometimes you will need to push through some of the things which the company wants to achieve and the change which the company wants to do. And sometimes you will also need to counsel your own senior leaders on what is the voice of the people and how policies or benefit programs or compensation programs can really help us create an engaged workforce. So it is walking on a tightrope. Some of the key things which I always consider is, ultimately it's important that we have a win-win both for our employees and our business. If business grows, employees will benefit for sure. And if employees are engaged, business will grow for sure. So I always look for a win-win things whenever a tough situation arises in this particular area.
Very true, very true. It's a very balancing act you have to play, and hats off, you have done good, and you're an inspiration to young professionals, HR professionals. So my next question will be on employee engagement. What are the critical factors one should focus on while developing employee engagement activity uh, in perspective of an MNC? And my question will be for Indian companies also, SMEs.
Thank you, Amit, for asking this. See, sometimes employee engagement, tend to think it's a very simple thing. You organize some activities or you organize a get together, a party or a lunch or a dinner, or probably invite family to come to the office. So then you are done. Employee engagement is actually much, much deeper than that, right? And it can really be the differentiating factor between a successful company and a not so successful company. When we talk about employee engagement as HR professionals, it is important for us to actually deep dive and understand what is the pulse of the employees. So it's important for us to understand what the surveys are saying. And when we do any survey, there are always two components. One is the numeric score, and the second one is the subjective feedback. Sometimes, because we want to simplify things, we always say that our scores have increased, so the engagement has increased. So we say that the numbers have gone up by 10% and our work is done. But it is not the fact. Every year, whenever an employee survey is done, I make sure that I go through the subjective comments, because subjective comments will give us more insights into what the people are thinking. And these subjective comments provide a lot of information around what we need to do to address the gaps in the employee engagement. And I'll give you specific examples on this as we proceed in this topic. But understanding the survey, both the numerical part and the subjective comments part, is very, very important. The other important factor is to have a personalized connection with different sections of the employee. And it is important that as HR professional, you not only go and meet the employees at their workplace, either in a factory or in sales, it is also important that you encourage the other top leaders in the organization to go and have a connect. So, in order to facilitate this, very happy to share that when I joined as the head of HR in Thailand, one key change which I brought in was that we don't want to do our town halls only from the headquarters. So we started a system in which the quarterly town halls are done either from a factory location or even from a field. So next month we might do it from the agriculture field where we grow potatoes. So it's important for leaders to go there, have a town hall, because town hall gives a great opportunity to share how the company is doing, as well as after the town hall is over, we set up a round table with different sections of employees so that they can share what we can do better to help them be successful in their jobs. So, apart from the surveys, it's important to have the personal connect, and it's important to travel. It's important to take others along when you want to hear what the employee wants. Now, when you have this important feedback or this need from the employee, that is when you develop a particular strategy around employee engagement. And let me share with you a couple of important points that we had corrected. I mean, one of the important things was while we have a lot of KPIs and a lot of business objectives, employees also wanted to actually have a little bit of more fun at the workplace. Now, when you hear about fun, the easiest thing is organize a one-day sports competition. So let us book a field and let's go and play cricket. That's a very easy thing to do. But then, like I mentioned, anything of this sort has to be continuous in nature. It cannot be a one day in the calendar year. So we actually launched an initiative which was similar to how Olympics happen. So we had series of games for which we took surveys from our team members and our larger employees on what games they want to play. And every Tuesdays and Thursdays, after the office got over at 5 o'clock, we used to organize a 1 hour competition where people can play that specific games. And in order to organize this entire event, we did not hire any third party or it was not the HR team. We actually asked for volunteering by the employees. And then people who, are good in table tennis, they volunteer to organize the tennis tournament. People who are good in playing board games, they volunteer to organize the board games in the office and the plant locations. So the engagement, if you see, was actually 6 month long engagement, and people really enjoy it. People really, uh, and it helped them also connect with some of the other employees whom they did not connect on a regular work basis. So there was a lot of positive feedback around this initiative. Happy to share, more such
Yeah,
experiences
very
in
true,
time
very
permits.
true. Like volunteering makes a very wonderful impact if they become they feel part of the organization. Like a volunteer is part of an what do you say not-for-profit NGO social cause. I'm part of Lions Clubs. I know I've been part of many other social causes. I've been part in my community also, right from the small to big have been in leadership roles. So if you make them, give them a project, they're very happy if they will plan out everything, detail, micro, everything, and put together all the things, and all the people then enjoy it. So it's like wonderful thought process, bringing concept of volunteering. Hats off.
Thank you, Amit.
Yeah, my next question will be, HR is an evolving field. So how do you keep abreast of the different changes happening in the field of HR, and what publication do you refer for all the updates?
Great question, Amit. So it's very important to keep oneself updated. These days, unlike, say, going to a library and searching for the latest book, you need not do this. All information, all knowledge, all the latest updates are available on the internet. So there are various websites by, SHRM, Harvard's, which I keep on referring to understand what's the latest. being part of this organization also keeps me on my toes. There are a lot of training programs that we go through to understand what's happening. One of the training programs that I had gone through was by Harvard Business School a couple of years back, when we had gone through a 6-month program on leadership strategy and transformation. So some of these initiatives help me. I'm also a big fan of participating in various HR forums. So you would see that I am part of as a panelist. I participated in various forums in the last few months. I am also part of some of the local professional networks here in Thailand, where I participate in the discussion. So all these things really help me keep updated on what's going on.
That's interesting. Uh, so which books, podcast would you recommend to an HR professional to refer to in his HR career development journey?
Great question. I mean, the first thing is that the wealth of the material, the main research happens in the Harvard Business School. So it's important that you subscribe to the magazine which the Harvard Business School has, and it's important that you go through each and every article. So that's the HR part of it. But it's also equally important to understand what's happening in business and what's happening in the world around us. So I'm a subscriber of Economist. So I read Economist, the digital version, quite frequently. So that helps me understand what's happening around the world and what's happening in the businesses, and what could be the various policy changes or various policies which can come in the future. So these are the two big things that I do. There are, of course, wealth of other materials by SHRM. There is also, if somebody is interested in learning and development domain, then ATD can be a good place to go and understand what's the latest updates happening in the training and development vertical.
Wow, interesting. So I'm also a subscriber of HBR, McKinsey, Forbes to keep myself updated. HBR is super resource for HR as well as for leadership, many different topics, and I've implemented those in my professional journey and personal journey also. So yes, HBR has a belt. Okay. My next question will be, who has influenced you from the field of HR?
So great question. I mean, I specifically mention two of my managers with whom I had the privilege of working and learning. I mean, the very first one was my first manager in HR. He came with a very strong views in HR and understanding of how human nature impacts business. So he was my first manager, and I always remember him. Sometimes when I'm in a difficult situation, I always think what he would have done. So I think my first manager in HR was a very, very, very had a very impactful influence on me as far as the HR field is concerned. The second manager was actually my plant manager when I was heading the foods operation in East India. Now, the reason why I really, respect my second manager, who was not in HR but into managing the operations, is because he was very, very human centric, right? Every day, whenever anybody used to speak to him, he always used to make you feel, elevated, make you feel happy about yourself. And even if you are making any silly mistake, or you are overlooking things on few things, he would always try to cover in for you. So if you are busy doing some other tasks and there is a report which you should have submitted, other managers expect you to stretch and get it delivered. What this manager used to do was, he used to actually get his hand dirty, make the report and send it. He never waited. And then it was a matter of, I used to feel a joy working with him, because he used to truly understand me. He never pushed me to stretch or deliver on these things. Even in most difficult situations, he always stood with me like a strong pillar of support. So I think these two managers had a big influence in the way I see. And I try to replicate some of the learnings and some of the behaviors they displayed into my daily life as well.
Very touchy, very touchy. You're going back in memory down the lane. Thanks for our conversation. Okay, I can see the smile. Now, my last question for this professional journey. There are many questions. We look forward to more conversations that Ritesh. What advice would you give to aspiring HR professionals looking to make an impact in an MNC company?
A great question, Amir. And the easiest answer is learn about HR, try to be the best person. But what I really feel, if you really want to be a good HR professional, you need to understand business better than others. So my advice to any young budding HR professional is, please try to get your hands dirty in terms of understanding how the business runs, how business makes money, how customer interactions happen, how the product is made, how a service is delivered. And all these things you cannot do if you are just sitting in a comfortable office. For these things to happen, you need to have a plan in which you go to the market, work with the sales employees, you need to work with the factory employees, you need to understand what are the various functions in the company and try to shadow some of the senior leaders to understand what's happening, and in the process learn how the business runs. If you understand the business, then other things will be taken care. The technical skills or the functional skills in HR is very easy to learn. It is really very easy, and anybody who is willing to learn can learn with time. But the most important thing which one needs to value is to learn about business. Second thing which I really want to tell everyone is, it is not only the skills that you learn in a B school or in your college which matters. When you join an organization, you need to learn on the skills on how to manage your manager, right? You need to learn the skills which will help you understand the effort that you are making, how much of value it is adding to the business. And the most important thing, you need to understand how to how do people think when they approach you for any support. A lot of people approach HR for a lot of troubleshooting, a lot of queries, a lot of support. In all these situations, it's important to understand what's going on in their mind. So being an empathetic listener is going to be one of the key skills to learn for an HR professional.
Very true, very true. You have summarized the different key sets someone has to follow. So, friends, for a wonderful conversation in the professional journey. Now, let's understand Ritesh as a person. So, my first question, Ritesh, tell us, let to hear about how was it growing years in India?
Oh, thank you for asking. See, personally, when I look back during my childhood and my formative years, I feel absolutely excited, and I feel very, very happy with the life that I had lived. So first common thing across the journey so far has been that I have actually relocated to multiple cities, both during my schooling time as well as after my schooling and for work. So just to give you an example, I've stayed in more than 12 cities in India, right? And in many of these cities, I've studied as either in school or in college or during my B school. And then with Pepsi also, I worked in South India, I worked in North India, I worked in East India. I have been there in most of the metros and lived there. So one common thing which I want to share, or one learning which I want to share, is it's absolutely important to be agile, right? Rolling stones gather no moss. So either because of your work or because of any other reason, if you are asked to relocate, don't say no to it, right? New cities bring in new learning. New cities can help add that value which you cannot add sitting in one location. So this is something which I really wanted to share with the audience here. Then
Wow.
when I look back, I had the privilege of working in sales also. I had the privilege of working in factories also. So from a professional point of view, all this asked for a lot of sacrifice, right? It asked for a lot of sacrifice from my family members as well. So important thing is, if you really want to achieve something, you should be ready to sacrifice some of the things. At the same time, when the time comes, you also need to give it back. So these are some of the two things uh, which I can comprehend while looking back at my journey during my
Very
childhood.
interesting. So now you have been to 12 different cities. So which city did you like, and uh, what is the culture and the food over there? So we'd like to hear it from you in India.
Oh, very difficult to answer this because each of these experiences had really added a lot of value to my life. And for each of these cities, I have very fond memories of making friends and, also exploring the city. Um, I think I would not say the best, but I would talk about a couple of cities which I really like. And the first one being Chandigarh, right? So I spent 2 years in Chandigarh. Chandigarh is one of the favorite and very, very close to my heart and my family's heart. So Chandigarh is one city which I really want to mention here. The second city is the current city where I'm staying. So right now I'm staying in Bangkok. I think Bangkok provides great opportunities for you to learn, both in terms of professionally as well as if you have some hobbies, deep sea diving, if you want to go for hiking, if you want to um, learn sailing. There are so many opportunities to learn here in Bangkok. You never feel bored if you are in this city. There is so much to do and there is so much to explore. This city is a land of smiles. People here are very, very nice, very welcoming. They would want to ensure that you and they are good friends. There is so much natural beauty in the beaches and in the mountains of Thailand. So I really want to mention the city. It's absolutely an honor and it's absolutely God's grace that we are in this city and we are able to learn so much.
So another part of what do you say culture. Let's go into about your having what is experience uh, different food cuisines. So which food cuisines are you did you get attracted in while you were in India and now you're staying Bangkok?
Oh, a very difficult question to answer. I'm a big time foodie. Although I'm a vegetarian, but in vegetarian, whatever dish it is, I'm a big time foodie. Right. So I love my North Indian food. Right. I love the kulchas and I love the chole bhature. I love South Indian dosas and idlis. And then when we moved here in Thailand, Thai food is extremely delicious.
Yes.
I love the spicy variant of Somtam and Pad Thai, and big fan of Thai food.
That's yes, yes. Thai is a different cuisine, and they've got good, how do you say, taste, everything. Yes, that's very interesting. Now, whom are you closest in your family, Ritesh?
I think I'm the closest to my mother.
Mhm. So, any memories, any sayings she has, which you remember?
So she is a superwoman, right? So I come from a nuclear family, and I was the only kid. So I've got a lot of pamper from both my dad and my mom. My dad, he was into a very senior role in one of the big government uh, corporates in India. And my mom, she's an entrepreneur, right? She's a teacher, she's a business person and she's still pursuing business in Kolkata, right? So I'm of course very close to her. I can confide all my secrets to her without a blink of an eye. And she is really superwoman. She balances the family. She balances her own parents. She balances business. She has employed more than 30 women in Kolkata and provides livelihood to them. A lot of people in Kolkata know her very well. She's quite famous there. So she's absolutely an inspiration. I personally think I can never be like her. She's so up there and so inspiring. I can never be like her. And just to also let you know, my dad, I mean, he has been the inspiration of the thoughts. He has always encouraged me to pursue my heart. So he himself used to play a lot of cricket, and during my childhood days in Kolkata, big fan of Saurav Ganguly. And my dad, I remember, he used to miss his office just to help me play cricket tournaments in Kolkata. So he used to sacrifice a lot at that point in time so that I can pursue my hobbies, right? So absolutely an inspiration.
My next question, you leading me to my next question. This is about your creative pursuits. Uh, in your in what do you say? What are the creative pursuits you carried on from your childhood and new creative pursuits you have developed over the years?
Great question. I feel some of these things uh, come from certain beliefs or certain values which I got from my parents. I mean, the very first thing is it's important to work hard, and it's also important to work smart. I have seen my parents toil so much to ensure that I have the life which I want, right? And this has not been very easy for them. So it's quite important that when the time comes, I also put in that effort. I also work smartly to deliver the things which is the right thing to do. The second thing is never compromise on personal values, right? There have been instances during my childhood where I did not know how to differentiate between the right value and the wrong value. And that was a time when, my parents helped me understand what is the right thing to do. And the right thing to do will ask for sacrifice. The right thing to do will also ask you to take hard calls. So this is something which I bring to work also, that I'm not shy in doing the right thing, which aligns with the values that I have.
That's very interesting. Uh, my next question will be, how do you maintain a work-life balance? Because your role is extensive travel, lot of development work, everything. So, what are the things you do for maintaining your work life?
So see, if you really like doing something, I don't think there is a boundary which we need to create between work and life, right? So I really like the HR profession. I really like doing what I am doing at work also, right? Yes, it happens sometimes that there are times when the company needs you, so you need to give more time to the company. But at the same time, there are times when the family needs you, and that is the time when you need to give time to the family. So I don't look at it as a boundary or as a balance. I really look at it is that what do I like to enjoy? And then what is it that I need to sacrifice? But at the same time, when the time comes, I need to ensure that I address the other part as well. In order to enjoy the life outside the office, I travel a lot, both with my family as well as with my friends. So travel helps me rejuvenate, travel helps me learn, like I said, right? I'm also fond of walking long distances. So if I go to any city in the world, in the morning or whenever I get time, I just walk and explore the city. So I'm a big fan of walking a lot, and I work out during my free time. So these are the three things which keep me
Wow, interesting.
balanced.
So, any place in your bucket list you'd like to visit in this year?
We want to visit Japan. We have heard quite a lot. Anybody I ask in my team here in Thailand, which is your favorite city, all of them invariably say it's Japan. I have heard Japan is very beautiful. I have seen some of the videos. We would
Mhm.
want to experience it. So hopefully this year, if we get the opportunity, we would want to visit Japan.
That's very interesting. Uh, Now, you have traveled all over the world. How do you stay connected with your family and friends?
Great question. See, it's very important to stay connected, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is sometimes work consumes you a lot. If you are really passionate, then you are in the flow, and you tend to kind of ignore the other parts of life. But it's important, and it's absolutely important to maintain good positive relationship with your family and friends. The very first thing which I do is those friends with whom I am close to in during my school, college, and work time, I ensure that I proactively call them up, right? And I don't feel ashamed at all. Sometimes, we create walls in our mind and we say that why disturb someone. But if you are
Mhm.
truly close to someone, there is no harm in giving them a call anytime and every time. So I do that shamelessly, and I call my friends and call them up just to understand what they are doing. Secondly, because I travel a lot because of work and because of my personal leisure, I ensure that whichever city I'm going, I go and meet them and their family. So I proactively take out time even if it is a half an hour lunch, I proactively take out time and I go and meet them either at their residence or have lunch or dinner together. Right. And third is, these days, social media, social networking has as such made it very easy to stay connected. So all my friends are just one message away.
Very true, very true. Uh, Pick up a call and connecting over a call instead of messaging. That is a mantra of what you say a true relationship, which you have shared, and that should be implemented. Not going by the messaging, by are you available? There's another topic. So, Ritesh, uh, looking ahead, what are some personal goals or aspirations you hope to achieve in coming years?
This is a wonderful question. I mean, as an ambitious professional, uh, these are the things which go on in your mind. I think I have realized the fact that professionally, it's not very important for at least me to target a specific role or the job responsibilities in a company. They keep on evolving, they keep on changing. So if I am eyeing a particular role, that may not be the right thing. So most important thing is to be ready to take on different challenges and different experiences in your life. It could be basis your career, it could also be personal goals. So staying open to learning is going to be is something which is very important. I value a lot. So in my professional career, I am very, very open to explore more opportunities. I have not yet spent a lot of time in this role, so I would want to learn more in the current role. And then, as and when the right opportunity come, happy to extend my learning to new things which I have not done before. Similarly, for personal life, there is so much to do, so much to read. There are every day we wake up, new technology or new things keep on happening. It's so I always find that it is short of time to read all those magazines which I mentioned a while back. So finding out time to do that, it's very, very I think it's very, very enriching. So these are the two things that one must be open to learning. And secondly, one must not target a specific work or a specific designation. It's important to learn as you grow.
Interesting, interesting. So my last question in this personal round, describe Ritesh in one line.
Great question. I mean, when I think of it, I don't think of the right answer, but the easiest way to answer this is to ask your friend. So I had asked my friends that how do you describe me in one line? So
Mhm.
they said that they look at me as a very, very enthusiastic, hyperactive, and a very passionate friend. So I think this is what I relate to, that I'm very enthusiastic about life. I think life gives you so much things to learn. I'm hyperactive, and this is something which has been there, and all my college friends agree that it's not a new skill. I have been hyperactive during their time also. And then I'm very passionate. If I pick up a cause, if I pick up some important activity, I see through it.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now, Ritesh, we come to the surprise, the rapid fire, the fun round. You have to be very quick and witty. Uh, your favorite travel place?
I love going to Kolkata, so I would mention that it gives a very different feeling. So love traveling to Calcutta.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
Tea, Indian tea, I love it.
Okay. One word to describe your leadership style.
Agile. I am a very agile leader. I learn very quickly.
Wow. Super. Fiction or non-fiction book?
Non-fiction, always.
Okay. Morning person or night?
I'm sorry.
Morning or night? You're a morning person or night person?
Night person. Night person. I am an owl. Absolutely an owl.
Okay. Uh, which line of sentence resonates with you? Early bird catches the worm, or the night is young?
Night is young, of course.
That I can. Okay. So, Ritesh is the winner of this book, autograph, which will be delivered to you. So, friends, it was lovely conversation which we had with Ritesh. Uh, Thanks to Zoom. We should also give a gratitude to Zoom because it's made it possible to connect. And friends, it was a lovely conversation. Do subscribe to this channel, the Coffee Corner Show, on YouTube. The great insights shared by Ritesh on HR strategy, talent acquisition, organization development. So anyone and plus about HR sales strategy, do buy his book on Amazon and read it because there are two perspectives, sales perspectives and as well team management. So as very beautifully he has put all his thoughts together. So friends, so lovely conversation on a Saturday weekend. Stay safe and we'll be with another guest speaker on another topic on this the Coffee Corner Show powered by the Emerging India Forum and tech partner Prime Infotech Solution.
Thank you, Amir. Thank you to your entire team for hosting this. It was wonderful interacting with you, wonderful going back into my childhood and sharing some of the learnings. And it was equally enriching to speak to you and learn from you as well. Thank you so much for this.